Presented by That Time I Got Reincarnated in the Same World as an Anime Podcaster, this is Shonen Jumping the Gun, the show where we set our sights on the first chapter of a manga and decide if it's a misfire or a bullseye.
Let's see how many rounds are in this magazine.
On today's episode, Crash Into Me, it's Beast Children. Welcome, everybody. I am your... Is he... clears throat, checks glasses. Is he queer? Kermit the Grog. It's for a character we'll meet later. Here with my rookie rugby rumbler, Isekai Sensei-Sama, Brad. Brad, how you doing?
I am going to tackle you so hard.
Oh my, okay. Jesus. And joined by special guest, Mr. Beast. David. Beast Children aficionado, David of Shonen Flop.
Hey, who told you about my alter ego?
You can't see it, audio listeners, but he's doing the hands right now.
Yes.
We can't see it either, but I know.
I was going to say, Kermit's so powerful he can see through my webcam even when it's off.
I can feel when anybody is doing the Mr. Beast hands at all times. And as stated, to end the sports arc, we're covering Beast Children, and we've had special guest David on because he has very strong feelings about it, and I thought it'd be funny to have him on for it.
This is going to be a ride.
This is going to be a fun one. As our little intro of information, Beast Children ran for 27 chapters in Shonen Jump in the year 2019. It was written and arted by Kento Terasaka, who later on went to cover series that we've talked about at length, Green Greens, that we are all, three of us, very good fans of. So this was very interesting to go back to because for ages from the Shonen Flop boys, we have been hearing that Beast Children is just so laughably terrible. Is this not the series that made you guys make the certified flop rating?
It did. We did not know that there would be something worse than the mediocrity that we started with, and we went, wow, this wasn't just bad, it's terrible.
Okay, we will get into that. But first, we've got my patented Kermit speedrun summary. We are told the three largest competitive events in the world are the Olympics, the FIFA World Cup, and rugby, putting their lives on the line and crashing into each other. An important player says he has to sit out the final cup, but his son is going to crush the world. Splash page, chapter 1, If You Laugh at the Mud. We meet our main character. He's reading a rugby magazine and, completely lost track of time. School's over. His buddy is like, it's time for club practice, but I hate that. It's sweaty. Our MC is excited about it. He gets hyper-focused on stuff all the time. We then learn our MC, Sakura, is the only member of the rugby team, as he chats with the soccer team about how violent rugby is. But that's what makes it so special. There must be something to why people are so passionate about it. Cut to later on the field, Sakura's friend Sora is on the soccer team, and he's sweaty and tired and wants to be done. He's passionate about it. We're fixated on kicking a rugby ball. Sora would rather be done with sports, but offers to practice tackling with Sakura, but Sakura declines. He knows Sora's heart isn't in it. He couldn't tackle him for real. Sakura saw a rugby game when he was a kid, and he was just so wowed by the energy and impact of it all, especially one Mr. Beast. No, not that one. Who he sees triumphantly bleeding. Sakura is so lost in the moment, he wanders to the edge of the stands and falls, bloodying his own nose. Mr. Beast notices their shared enthusiasm for the game and shared bloody faces and tells Sakura all about the joy of rugby and crashing into other people, and he should join them. That was 5 years ago, and he's just been practicing with the ball the whole time, all alone. Then a hoodie guy appears. It's Shin from iShield 21. Wait, nope, got that wrong. But he is running like he's holding a rugby ball. Sakura kicks the ball at him, which gets him to stop. He then shows Sakura how to properly kick the ball and catch it. Sakura calls him a rugger, which sounds like a slur or a sex term, and then asks for his name. It's Yakido, but you can forget it. Before they can play together, he's gone. Cut to tomorrow, and Sakura's on Cloud 9, talking about this dude to Sora, but he has no way of finding him. Oh, wait, is that him? It is! Sakura gives chase, and Yakido says he will never play rugby with Sakura. In their chase, they run past the mean-looking guidance counselor, but Sora's a real one and distracts him as the chase continues to the roof. We're going into the roof a lot recently, I feel like. There was something else we covered that went to the roof.
Slam dunk.
Slam dunk went to the roof, yes. They meet on the roof. They actually meet on the roof this time. Sakura wants to crash into Yukito with all he's got, just like his master said. Yukito thinks that's dumb. There was a player who said that stuff all the time. He was a big fool and risked his life so much he died on the field. What an idiot. Sakura is pissed his master is being smack-talked. Yukito will show him how foolish he is after school by the river, which is also recently that happened in Rookies.
Yeah.
The rooftop, the river nearby, your school, these are all the big sports manga locations. They meet, and it's a game of 5-5-5, 5 minutes of tag in a 5x5 box. All Sakura has to do is tackle Yukito once, and he wins, but he sucks and struggles with it. The soccer team happens to be running by, and Sora ditches out to watch the game of tag. It looks fun. Sakura is pissed, but also like falling in love with Yukito for his opportunity even as he loses. His form is all wrong, and he's weaker and worse than Yukito, but damn it, he's going to keep trying until it's done. Then his autism hyperfocus kicks in, and he gets a speed boost, I shit you not. It's the last 30 seconds, and Sakura is super tired, but he makes one last attempt. All the mud has Yukito stuck, and he gets tackled with all of his might. The thing he's been yearning for the last 5 years. He got him. He did it. Now he's dead. Tired, but he's so happy. Sora comes to help him, and Sakura talks about how amazing it all was, and Sora seems truly touched by his passion. In the last pages, as he beseeches the heavens, we learn that Yukito is Mr. Beast's son. End of chapter. David, I thought Beast Children Chapter 1 was a pretty good time, and maybe that's because I went into it being told for literally years that it was a cesspit of a manga.
I definitely was like, wait, did I read the right thing?
Something?
So, I mean, here's the thing: did you read the whole series or just the first chapter?
Just the first chapter. That's
so,
the bit of the
fun
series.
fact, yeah. So Beast Children gets super weird early on. He talks about his obsession with being tackled, and they don't actually play rugby till like chapter 11, I think. And there's also a lot of instances of very, very bad art.
I didn't notice bad art, and admit I can talk as an expert. This is the end of our sports arc. There are very few sports manga that will play the sport actually in the first volume.
Yeah.
It's a surprisingly rare occurrence. Slam Dunk, I don't think I got to a game in the first volume. It took like 4 volumes for Rookies. Blue Lock's weird. I don't know. I stopped reading Blue Lock. I shield they get to a real game within like the second volume, if not the end of the first. It takes a while. A lot of sports manga take a while to get to the sports. I've heard.
Greens, I'm pretty sure is the second volume.
Yeah. So, but I get what you mean. I don't know. I guess because this one is compared. I guess a lot of this episode is going to be comparing this to Green Greens, the author's later work, and I feel like Green Greens was about things that weren't necessarily golf because they were about the process of trying and getting good at something. And Beast Children is literally, I feel like it much like the protagonist, it hyper focuses on rugby as the thing. But I just love the way that the author talks about, like the way he has his protagonist talk about it like it's some magical thing. I guess I don't know. Like I was weirdly charmed by the very weird, very autistic protagonist.
I saw the DNA though. I could see it that like this leads to Greens.
Oh, 100%. But no, like it's got weird manga energy. Like again, how excited they are to crash into each other. It's like that seems like a weird thing for a child to be interested in, but like sure, okay. I've read weirder things.
I think a lot of Beast Children is the main character discovering a lot about himself through rugby.
I mean, that's a good sports series. I guess if you're following a character who's in the sport.
Yeah. I mean, I think looking at my notes, I remember that I know my complaint, but they actually spend like a insane amount of time in one match that wasn't very interesting. Like, I will say Beast Children has proven to be on the upper end of series I would describe as terrible. Especially when we've read things like Zon or Build King or that one series that shall not be named. But I would still definitely say that Green Greens is an absolute glow up in quality between an author's 2 works.
I mean, I gotta like, if we're talking about things that are bad, and especially from the standpoint of the first chapter, Beast Children, to me at least, is significantly better than Dear Anemone. In the first chapter.
I think we can all agree with that. If that's a thing that we can all collectively stomp on, it sets up characters that you understand what their deal is. It sets up what it's about. It puts gears in motion. It gives you a reason. It gives you a reason why to care about anybody.
Yeah.
I guess that's the thing. It's like if you're early on and you haven't gone into the full pit of terrible, you haven't read Dear Anemone or Shadow Eliminators, and you're just like, oh man, things can be a mess. But I mean, I get like I think it was helped for me coming into it being told it was so garbage and then being like, hey, this trash is on the top of the pile and it's on the doily. I could eat this. And it's
recycling.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, like, I'm very excited now to go forward in it. I need to know because, a lot of this then, us reading this is from, Flop lore, people talking about it. Because I wanted, for all of the sports things we covered, we were covering all, like, super popular things that, like, did well or were very well regarded. And I'm like, we need to read something that's not good to balance the palette. And then we picked this, and Brad and I were both like, we actually kind of like it, which didn't really help. But I do feel very equipped to talk about it now after having covered everything else. But I guess, David, like, F the future vision of this episode. That's one of the reasons we had you on. Just talk about it.
Oh, of course.
Source does seem pretty cool from this first chapter. Does he play the game then?
So they kind of, no, a lot of it it seems like he was intentionally designed not to play rugby, like being the not rugby front, but then they do kind of force him on the team in the last few because the offer just kind of is like, oh, I don't have enough characters. Let's just have him play rugby.
He's like we've seen a bunch of just every other school manga. Like Here's the Friend, but like he just has, maybe it's just because he has queer energy, but he just has a vibe to him that I dig.
Yeah, no, I mean, Sora's great.
Like, I don't want to, like, it's not like, oh, I hate trying, and it's just like, sports are tiring, I get all sweaty, and it's like, I don't want to, it's like, I get that vibe. I was a kid that didn't like sports growing up, I get this. But then he's like, oh, this looks actually pretty cool. Like, he's not just a curmudgeon. It's just like, man, yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I gotta say, I mean, when we line this up against everything that we've covered recently for the sports arc, this is near the top for me.
It's so wild to me. It's so wild to me. That's, again, from only the first chapter, move over, Slam Dunk's 7th sellingest manga of all time. It's time for Beast Children.
Honestly,
yeah, Beast Mode.
I have to put it side by side with Rookies, with Slam Dunk, and I'm like,
I Shall 21.
Yeah. Is it your number one? Because
no.
I guess we have to fix the rating because this is the last one.
So
Sports Arc 1.
I would put I Shield 21 over this.
Yo, okay, thank you.
But it's
Appreciate it.
possible, at least within this arc, that this is number 2.
Okay. We will have to. I will have to read more of it. Maybe we'll do a check back in on it.
Well, and that's the thing is after reading this, I actually was like, I think I want to read more of this.
I need to know now, because clearly it was like, that's what I thought. I was like, well, clearly I didn't get to whatever makes it a stinker, so I have to keep, in the same way that with Slam Dunk, I'm like, did I not hit where it starts cooking? I need to keep going. Here's, it's like, I didn't hit where it turned to garbage. Maybe I got to keep going. It'll be a quick read. It's only 20-some chapters.
And I will say, I have not gone back to that Shonen Flop episode and listened to it.
Neither have I. I don't want to.
I was very clearly like, I'm not going to spoil this. But once I go and read more of it, I'm definitely going to go to check that out and get the deep Shonen Flop
It's a
lore.
sliding scale. We've had to read a lot of garbage recently from Jump, so. But yeah, like, I liked the setup. Like, David, I know you guys were down in the art, and maybe it gets worse. I know there's that image that went around the Discord of just very clearly he took a rugby ball and put it in there, and I know we were all paying attention to that for his golf ball and his golf clubs, but like,
yeah,
I liked again, I don't know how much of this was, I guess this is what Brad and I have talked about. It's like, if you hype me up on something too much, I will probably not like it. So this was the opposite effect of like, I was talked down about this whole time. Now I love it.
No,
I have to support it. It's my little baby, but like, that's not right.
I'm glad you support.
So supportive. I generally didn't notice the art as being particularly one way or the other. And I've had stuff recently where I thought the art was annoying, but like, again, it could get worse. I know a lot of times, especially these newer authors come into Jump and their first couple of chapters are good, and then the wheels start falling off because trying to draw an entire chapter of manga every week is just not tenable.
No, there's so many series, like Dear Anemone, when the author had no time to do anything except for draw.
They drew the monsters, and then they had to do the rest.
Yeah, they really needed a writer. I love watching these newer authors come in and go, if you just had work on a series like this, or if you just had like, you should just focus on art, or you should just focus on writing or something. And which admittedly is true, because the last 2 or 3, Ichi's a duo, Shinobi Undercover was a duo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a couple
series is
duos
okay.
recently.
Is Hakutaku?
I don't remember if Hakutaku was or not. I'd have to go check my notes. That one felt like very a new whatever. I mean, David, you've told us a little bit, but Brad, where do you think it could go?
I mean, it's a sports manga.
They have to build the team.
Yeah, you got to do this stuff.
It's so interesting how quickly you get to, like, we've built a team to play the game and how much of the time is spent doing that. Because Blue Lock, you're already in the middle of it instantly, which I guess speaks to its newness of now. Just like, there's no time. Just I mean, we're technically building a team, but everybody's here and we're doing sports now. I mean, Rookies took many volumes to get there. Ice Shield kind of takes its time to build the full team, but
It takes a long time to fully flesh out their team.
fully flesh it. But you get enough of a team, even if a lot of them are nobodies, to play the first game like that. It changes from sports to sport. Like we didn't cover any like I guess because we talked about we never did Prince of Tennis. Like we didn't do a sport that's like a 1 or 2 person thing where it's like we did a bunch of ones where it's like you need an entire team, and to do that you need to build the team.
Technically, golf is, but then also like, yeah, you normally don't golf a full round by yourself.
No, but that's not a team. Like you're golfing against people.
Yeah.
Like, but that's the thing. It's like Green's like you can just because it's like for a team sports manga, your supporting cast isn't always necessarily on the team. So when you have a team already, you can kind of hit the ground running more. Or if you have a team already, you can spend more time with your main character learning the sport.
I sort of feel like as long as a series is doing something that is related to the sport, so Greens, they're at the driving range. Here with Beast Children, they're doing like an exercise in that, in the area at the end where now it's more of like a contest that they're doing, but like that is
it's rugby adjacent
right.
enough.
So as long as you have set pieces like that, I think it's fine to just drag it out and be like, we'll get there eventually. But here's some of the pieces that go into
the pieces,
that.
so when they come together to form the game, it'll be really cool.
Right.
What do we want to see more of? What do we want to see less of? I would say less of just rugby. I like that this guy goes to their school and in his class, and it's like he knows how to play rugby, but also, I guess, do we learn what he's playing, or is he just running around?
He kind of gets the idea of how rugby works at some point.
Okay, I guess because rugby man is his father, so he's blood. He's learned it by blood. They're collectively what are the names from the kids in Metal Gear, Military Son and Fence Terrible? Or
the French term.
Yes. I think about that and other things sometimes where it's like, these are all the weird not kids that came out of whatever this thing is.
Yes.
See all the weird pseudo follow-up sequels to Disco Elysium. There's like 6 different studios, or like 5 or 6 different studios that have sprung up. One of them is the original studio, all attempting to trying to take on the legacy of Disco Elysium. So I feel like that's
kind of a mess.
This is at least 2 people taking on the legacy of Mr. Beast in a different way. One of which is by blood and wants to spit on it, and the other one is. I guess I like that I like that he's son, and it's literally just like crashing into people's gonna give you freaking concussions, you dummies. No, and I'm like, I appreciate that. That's true. You never think about concussions in Ice Shield 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just think about your legs falling off.
Although, I mean, all of these sports do have, all of the full contact sports have different ways that they try to mitigate that. I mean, with football, you've got all the pads and helmet.
That's the thing,
and everything.
you don't have as much padding in rugby, and that's part of the bit, and it's all about, like, run into people, get in the mud, get bloody, get your head knocked off.
But that's actually one of the reasons why rugby is better than football for concussions. It's the same way why MMA tends to be somewhat less dangerous than boxing, because when you put a device in between you and the thing that you're hitting, a helmet, gloves, you put more power into it because you're going, oh, I have this thing that's protecting me, when instead it's actually making it worse, especially with football, because a helmet protects your head from getting cracked and everything, but the sloshing around that your brain does, which is what causes a concussion, is just as bad.
Okay, counterpoint to this really specific thing from a UFC-related video I watched recently. There has been, what was it? There has been multiple in-ring deaths in a modern bare-knuckle boxing, whatever the heck you want to call that sport, and there has never been an in-ring fatality in UFC, which has run a lot longer and had infinitely more fights. So I've heard that same study, and probably in sports where you're not actively, like, literally, where it's not literally the point to bash each other's brains out, it probably helps a little bit, but at least in the case of boxing, no, literally having protection helps people not die in the ring as much. They'll get concussions, but it's like that false thing of, like, when they brought the bomber planes back from World War II, and they're like,
the
survivorship
bias. Yeah, it's survivor bias. It's like, oh, we gotta pad it. It's like, no, you have to pad the spots where people didn't tell you the stories, because that's where they're getting those people who don't have concussions are the people who aren't here to have them. We've wandered off. But yeah, it's a sports manga. I feel like that's why I want to get out of the sports arc now, because I'm enjoying them all, but they're all the same. What do you think will happen? The sports manga thing will happen. A team will happen. The character will learn. They'll get some cool abilities. I
like his
the Christmas
friend.
Bowl.
I have to say, I skipped that earlier. I like the friendship that he has with that kid who's like, no, I don't want to do any of this stuff.
Sora is the Haruma of Beast Children.
Yeah, right.
He's the darling character who seems not fitting to what's going on, but you'll love him anyways. I think with that we reached our conclusion. We're at the feelings section. So, Brad, how do you feel about Beast Children? You got to put it on. You got to put it on wax, my brother.
I'm gonna psychologically damage you right now.
Me or David?
You.
Nice.
This is great.
It's so much that we thought it was going to be garbage, right?
It's the first chapter. I'm totally open to this falling flat on its face, but this first chapter is great.
I can't believe we said mean things about Slam Dunk, and now we're doing this. I would say good hopeful.
That's fair.
David, do you want to go back in your memories when you read the first chapter and attempt to bring us to that moment, if you can remember?
I was like, wow, this is not great. This was before we did Chibi episode, so I can't really say I separate the first chapter in my mind.
You had the rest of it, and it was before you had waded into the pool of all of the other garbage that you were soon to sup on.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it.
So,
I'm interested. I'm gonna read more of it and see what happens.
Okay, so we're at the end of Sports Arc before we do the Would You Buy or Not. So what's your rankings of everything? What's top to bottom, or bottom to top, if that's what you're feeling spicy about?
So Blue Lock is at the bottom.
Blue Lock is at the bottom.
I heard good things about it.
It's not, this is where our new thing about trying to separate how you feel about something and how you feel about its quality and how you personally feel about it. Blue Lock is a well-made thing, but what it's about, like, morally made both of our stomachs go, I don't think so, dog.
Yeah. See, that's the problem here, is that everything else we covered is so far above Blue Lock that it almost is insulting to put anything.
Well, things have to go above it.
I know, right?
You've got Ice Shield 21 Slam Dunk
definitely at the top.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and put Beast Children at number 2. So then it's between Slam Dunk and Rookies.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to go with Slam Dunk and then Rookies.
Oh, okay.
Don't tell Maxie B.
They were on that episode. They know how Brad feels about it.
Oh,
I got to be the buddy. I loved Rookies until I read to the point where the scan later changed 6 volumes in, and I didn't like it anymore, sadly.
And let's be fair, the only thing that I actually disliked was Blue Lock.
But also you just don't like sports manga. You're not going to go back and read probably any of them except Beast Children, because now we are
I still might read Ice Shield 21.
So you say. Whatever.
I still might read Golden
Motherfucker. Someday I will force you to do that. We'll do a mag dump episode on it, and I will force you to read the first 20 chapters of Golden Kamuy. I think probably similar. I'd put from the bottom, Blue Lock, Slam Dunk, Ooh. If I'm taking my energy that I had about Rookies when we did the episode, I'd probably say Beast Children, Rookies, Ice Shield 21.
That's fair.
Gosh, I wish I could have finished Rookies. Don't you hate it when you're reading a manga and then all of a sudden the scan later group changes and just all of the flavor and personality just evaporates from the piece and you're just like, no, please, you were doing so well. Would you pay $10, $12 US to buy the first volume of Beast Children to keep reading it?
So only this is a caveat because
okay.
Because I know it's so short, I would buy it.
But you wouldn't buy. I guess some of it is to know that we can get to the end fairly quickly.
Right.
But
So
some of it, I feel like a lot of my portion is still like, I need to know.
yeah, I would say if I had no knowledge, like if this was brand new, I probably wouldn't.
Oh, I don't think I could put myself in those shoes. I mean, what if I'd probably feel similar to how I felt with the first chapter of Green Green Greens, maybe a little less hot on it. But I feel like so much now I'm just keyed into like, I need to know when the wheels come off because I'm being told the wheels come off. But for now I would say yes. I would say I would buy the first volume to know, as a scientific experiment.
Yeah.
I feel like we're
Wait, it's 2 volumes though, right?
What?
Isn't it?
It's 3 volumes?
Is it 3?
3 sounds right.
3 sounds right.
I mean, I would just buy all of them.
Because what? Even a U19, I guess sometimes some of the ones that died really early are only 2 volumes. But
if it wasn't,
I mean, Beast Children probably is and will never be released in America proper, like physically.
Here, 1 second, I can get my notes up, which should have that.
Ooh.
If it wasn't on the app, I would
It
buy
says
the
it's
volumes.
27 chapters, 3 volumes.
Oh, 27. Good for
Beast
it.
Children is longer than you think.
Good for Beast Children.
Wait,
they didn't kill as early. Is that longer than Green Greens?
No, maybe it might be around the same.
I like that we're confused about the chapter count when I literally read it at the start of the episode and just woo right through.
I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, no, I'd buy all 3 volumes to finish reading
just
this.
to know. Okay,
Man,
well, I guess we're gonna have to have a follow-up episode where we talk about Beast Children and if we were right or we were wrong.
I am prepared to go, oh, I get it. I'm totally prepared for
ready,
that.
Yeah.
But the fact that
terrible slop or disrespected masterpiece. Watch my YouTube video.
the fact that the first chapter here, I was like, oh my god, I'm enjoying myself. I think this is good. Versus everything we've heard already, I was like, what happened? Where does it fall off?
Yeah. I think that's where we're at, and I think with that we're at the end of the episode, right?
Yeah.
What a wacky end of the sports arc.
Yeah.
Oh, what fun we have!
Throwing all ball based sports? A basketball, a football, a baseball, a soccer ball, and a rugby ball.
Oh yeah. I didn't even.
I mean, I don't know what sport we could have covered that wasn't. I guess like
MMA and
rock climbing.
What?
Rock climbing.
There's a rock climbing
I watched
anime.
a little of that episode of that rock climbing anime because I'm a terrible degenerate, but we didn't watch any more of it. It was very strange. I guess so. 2 on Ice, which technically it's not the sports arc, but we've covered that.
Yeah.
There's no frisbee golf manga that I know of.
That sounds pretty dope.
Green spiritual sequel about frisbee golf, and he's in college now.
Frisbee football.
They're playing Quidditch, but the college version of it, not the Magic version. Yeah, what other sports don't even... I feel like sports have balls.
I mean, a lot of them do, yeah.
Prince of Tennis has a ball. Water polo.
Volleyball.
Yeah, we're saving Haikyuu for the boys arc in the future. But yeah, I think we're at the end. So Brad, help me give David a moment to hit me with his plugs about what he does for the people to know.
Thank you guys so much for having me on. Well, as I alluded to, I have a podcast called Shonen Flop, which has featured both of these goobers in the past, where we look at manga that ran in Shonen Jump that didn't do so well, including the aforementioned Beast Children and, more sadly, Green Green Greens. You can find it at shonenflop.com. That's SHONENFLOP.com.
Awesome. And Beast Children, I believe that was episode 4. Was that right?
3 or 4.
I want to say 3. I don't know why I feel that, but I feel like it's 3.
Way back when.
Way back then, before we were around. We're kind of the beginning of the factor, and you're the end. We're the start.
I know.
You're the finish.
I know Golden Hearts is 2. So Beast Children, I think, is 3.
Yeah. We had your co-host Jordan on to talk about Sidcraft Love and Mystery is the name? Is that what it's called?
Romance is a mystery.
Romance is a mystery. This manga is a mystery, which I'm sure you guys will have to read in a couple months' time.
Yeah.
But no, thank you, David. And now Brad, hit me with them plugs.
Well, as always, we need to thank Sugoi Mart for partnering with us. Sugoi Mart's a retailer of Japanese snacks, drinks, toys, and merch. They got all kinds of cool stuff you can't get outside Japan. Our listeners can click the link in the description or use code APR15 at checkout to get 15% off their first order. And we want to know what you think. So find us on social media, which you can find links for on our website, animepodcasterreincarnation.com. Make sure you check out our Discord, where we have a lot of fun chats. And don't forget to check out our Patreon. Our supporters get perks like bonus episodes, getting to vote on which series we cover on heroin addiction, and getting the high-quality version of the podcast early. And, of course, we have to shout out our patrons. So, first and foremost, at our noble tier, we have our marquee, Sir Cake Dwarf. At our Reincarnator tier, we've got Moon. And last but not least, at our Commoner tier, we've got Rena and Kill Hour. So thank you so much to all our patrons.
Thank you. Thank you, Brad, for that. Thank you, everybody, again for listening. Make sure you listen to all of the podcasts on our feed. And, Brad, there's no ending bit. We're just going to go read Beast Children, right?
Yeah.
That's the ending bit. Bye.
Speaking of having fun,
Yes.
so as a way of warming up, we were hoping that you would record an episode of Shonen Jumping the Gun with us.
For a series specific to you.
And I
that
know
you're very familiar with.
Yeah, we didn't tell you what it was ahead of time, but that's because we know that you already know it.
Which series? Bill King?
It's Beast Children.
Oh, yeah, we can talk about how good Green Greens is. Genuinely, it's going to be GGG sweep for the floppies this year. That's my plan for tomorrow, is to finish my floppies. Oh, I completely, before I forget, also, I was thinking about Tricks Dedicated Witches yesterday, because I was at the holiday party, and they had a magician, and I was thinking about...
You thought about how that magician could unravel the papacy.
You're like,
Yeah.
in ancient Europe.
if you got
In medieval
isekai'd back in time, you'd do so well.
You do so well. I hope you're going to invent chocolate, dude.
You mentioned Giant King, and I thought that was funny because in Funky Green Overdrive's flop character face-off that he's doing, the last one is Giant King versus Debonair Diamond from Red Hood.
I mean, that's not fair.
I voted for Giant King. Like, no one
You were
else
the one.
did.
There was one vote for Giant King.
Because I don't think... Did you read Red Hood?
No.
We will be reading Red Hood in the Feast or Famine arc then, because I know I read a little bit at the time, but I never finished it.
I didn't read Saint Muscle either, but that was one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, but Red Hood is a jump title we'll cover at some point.
It looks like somebody
on
else
the radar.
did vote for Giant King now.
I mean, Red Hood is great because it's like pretty interesting, and then clearly the editor was like, "Nah, dog, this ain't it," and the author was like, "No, you don't understand. Fuck you." And it's like very apparent in the writing of that series how much he hated his editor.
Well, now I'm really excited about that.
I won't say more than that, but I've never seen author so aggressively talk about how much he hated his editor in the series.
David, are you ready to record an episode of Shonen Jumping the Gun as a warm-up?
Recording an episode with two of our best guests. I love it.
Oh, shut the fuck up. I
Kermit, have you been
refuse
on
to
the
take
show?
that kind of
No.
insult.
Oh, good. I don't think I recorded with either of you this year, so otherwise it'd be awkward if I was like, oh yeah, definitely you guys are in my top 3 this year.
We've never recorded with you before. That's the move I should have gone for.
Yeah.
You've been in that coma, David. You haven't recorded with anybody this year.
I mean,
God.
we did do that Patreon episode, but I guess that doesn't count.
We recorded a mean episode. We recorded probably one of the best things we've ever read for Shonen Flop with you.
Yeah.
Isekai. Brad, you didn't even start.
You
won
recorded
last
something.
year,
You
so-
recorded stuff on our feed this year.
Oh God. I mean, I've read Beast Children twice, so
Exactly. That's more
me
than
and
us.
Jordan may be the only people on the planet that fully read that series twice.
It does sound a little bit
room noise,
rooming
but
kind of
like,
thing, but
I'm assuming that's your heater, so you don't.
You're perfectly
succumb to
understandable.
cold
Oh no, I
death.
turned it off.
Oh.
I do have a dog. You might be hearing the dog exist.
I don't think your dog makes a consistent airy hum unless you've got a very strange looking dog.
Oh,
I think it's just.
yeah.
I think it's just the sound of the room.
I think
I
you're
do
fine.
actually have a very strange looking dog though.
But no, thank you, David. And now Brad, hit me with them plugs.
Now Brad has to pull up
Brad has to look up
the
his thing.
document because he never does it ahead of time.
Much like me, not coming up with the bits beforehand. Well, that gets tossed back to me, right?
Mhm.
We've done this how many times now? You think I'd be good at it?
Quite a lot.
Okay, David. Thanks for the shenanigans of that. We'll get
No
we'll get to the real
worries.
deal that you can contribute to more because this is literally about you.
Oh, fun.
You will be put under the hot light. That doesn't sound right. The spotlight. You're gonna get grilled